All right, so what exactly is a bottleneck on NBA Top Shot? It's one of the most common questions that I get from my YouTube subscribers and people who are just starting out. So in this video, I'm going to break it down for you and give you everything that you need to know about 3 different types of NBA Top Shot bottlenecks. We'll take a look at a few examples and I'll do it as simply as possible. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel where my goal is to help you build a collection that you love and keep you up to date on NBA Top Shot and other major sports NFTs. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I get a ton of questions from my subscribers and people who are just starting out on what is a bottleneck. Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna do my best to simply go over 3 different types of bottlenecks for you. We're gonna start with the easiest ones, and then we're gonna move to the harder and more complicated ones towards the end of the video. We're gonna be talking about set bottlenecks, team bottlenecks, and then also challenge and flash challenge bottlenecks. If you get any value out of this video, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and also hit that like button. Also, feel free to let me know what you think of it down in the comments section below. Lastly, I do a ton of giveaways multiple times a week for my YouTube subscribers. So if you want to enter into this week's giveaway, make sure you go into the description of this video and enter with the giveaway link in there. Right now, we're giving away a Ja Morant Series 3. That's going for about 30 bucks on the marketplace. And when I hit 2,500 subs, we're also giving away a Chris Paul Playoff Challenge Reward, a $70 moment on the marketplace, and also a Ray Allen archive moment that's going for about 24. All right, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and zoom in and talk some bottlenecks. All right, so I thought this was pretty funny right here, and I'll take about 15 seconds on it before we go into a set bottleneck. What is a bottleneck? It's a point of congestion in production in a system. So when we're talking bottlenecks for Top Shot, it's a point of congestion to complete either a set or a challenge. Pretty simple, right? I'll show you a perfect example now with one of my favorite sets, and I'll tell you a couple of things that you need to be aware of as well. This is the Hustle and Show Series 2 set, right? So in order to complete this entire set, if you take a look at this beautiful set right here, it's, one of my favorite ones on all of Top Shot, and it's one of the only ones that I have complete as well. The bottleneck for this set would be the Ja Morant moment here, because as you can see, that was a challenge reward using these 18,000 minted moments. And there were 2 challenge rewards in this set. One of them was Giannis, and then the other one was Ja Morant. 6,532 Ja Morant and 7,106 Giannis. So therefore, the bottleneck of this set becomes Ja Morant, because in order to complete the set, everything goes through Ja Morant right here. It's the most expensive and it's the most rare. It is the bottleneck of the Hustle and Show set. Now let's talk about Series 3 real quick, Hustle and Show, because it's something that I want to caution you just very simply here. Series 3 Hustle and Show is an open set, which means it has not closed yet. They're going to do another Hustle and Show drop for Series 3 coming up later on in the season. Very similar to that last set. There were 18,000 minted and distributed in packs. And then these are the challenge reward moments. So if you complete the challenge, then you get the reward moment. You can also buy these on the marketplace. Take note for you beginners out there. But you'd be wondering, right, why Kristaps Porzingis is more expensive than Steph Curry in this. I mean, Steph, the greatest shooter of all time, right? His moment should be more expensive. But no, that's not the case, because people are going to be wanting to complete this Hustle and Show Series 3 set. We've already seen utility in that people who hold the set are getting airdropped free packs, which is amazing. So I think there's long-term value in holding this set. But nonetheless, as you can take a look at the numbers here again, 7,501. So less people completed the Porzingis than did the Steph Curry. It makes more sense because, Steph's more popular. More people are going to want to complete that. But then adversely, it creates this as the bottleneck. So that is the most expensive moment in the set. There are cases where bottlenecks are not the most expensive. So don't just think that the most expensive moment is automatically the bottleneck. It is the one that makes the set the hardest to complete. Again, simply, it's the moment that makes the set the most hardest to complete. So the rarest moment in the set. 7,501 Kristaps Porzingis is currently the bottleneck of this open set. So we will see when they release the next round of Hustle and Show for Series 3 if there are any challenges that are completed to a lesser amount than that. And then if there are, then that would be the new bottleneck. I hope you're all tracking. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my socials. I'm on Twitter. All the links to my socials are down in the description of this video as well. The best way to reach me is probably on Twitter or, it's just probably on Twitter or Instagram. So that's the easiest way to access me directly. Just leave a comment on one of my posts or shoot me a tweet. Now, it gets a little bit trickier when we go into team sets, right? And team sets are important to complete because that's how you're able to get your collector score up the most. And collector score is important for getting into specific drops and for the amount of packs that you're able to get within that drop. So it's definitely an important part of Top Shot. What I'm looking at right here is a great resource that I recommend you get familiar with. It is called Own the Moment. OTMNFT.com is the name of the site. What I did is I went to market, this little tab at the top here. I hit teams, and then I filtered between Series 1 and Series 2 because those are the sets that give you the most collector score points. Series 3 is also currently in progress, so we don't have all of the complete data on what's going to be bottlenecks in that set yet. But what I did is I looked at Series 1 and 2, I hit filter, and then I hit this low ask right here because that is going to be the cost to complete that entire set. And we're going to look at the bottleneck here as well. So I'm going to show you an example with the LA Lakers. First, let's look at the total team set. So what we're looking at here is the full team set list for the LA Lakers. Simply put, it is everyone ever who has a moment minted wearing a Laker jersey. Okay, so some of them are going to be in Series 1, some of them are going to be in Series 2, and some of them didn't join the team until Series 3. But if you mix all that up and you hone every single player who's ever had a moment minted in that jersey, then that is a complete full team set. And some of them are really hard to complete. Some of them are easier than others. You get a doubling of your collector score for each moment on that team if you complete the set. And then Series 2, we will talk about later because that's the most common set and the cheapest sets for people to complete. But anyways, take a look up at the top here. Steve Nash is a Top Shot debut, run it back, rare Series 1. The moment costs $4,400. So in order to complete the Lakers full team set, you need to buy that moment for $4,400, or you need to just wait until he has another LA Lakers moment that comes out on Top Shot in the future, which I'm sure there will be, but it might not be for a while. So if you're a Lakers collector, unless you have that $4,400 that you want to throw down on it, you're most likely going to look at gearing up on Series 2 set because that is the bottleneck for the full team set. And since it's in Series 1, that will be the bottleneck for that one as well. Again, we're looking at not only cost, but circulating count. So this one is only minted to 275 total moments. And you can see all these here. Some of them are minted up to 60,000. So this is more important to people who are just starting out and more important to most collectors. Here is the Series 2 team set for the Lakers. It is probably, like I said, that's what you're going to be going after if you're a common collector or if you're getting into Top Shot, you're a Laker fan, you want to build up your collector score based on Laker players. This is a really nice and clean one because it shows, that there's only one team bottleneck. Sometimes there are multiple of them. Sometimes the 4 badge rookies will be the bottleneck to a team set if that player doesn't have a moment minted at a more common number later down the road. I believe that is the case for Maxey on the Sixers, But just this one's here is pretty simple. It's not too hard to complete the Lakers team set. Like you saw, it costs like $179 or $197 or something like that. But the most expensive one here is Andre Drummond. And you would say, why is Andre Drummond more expensive than LeBron James, right? It is for now, at least, because it's the bottleneck of that set. Andre Drummond only has one moment as a Laker. They minted it in the playoffs. So in order to complete the team set, you're going to need to have Andre Drummond. Okay. And as you can see, even though LeBron has a bunch of other expensive moments on Top Shot, he still has a common out of 35,000 that you're able to pick up and use for the team set. So all of these right here, luckily, all of these players have 40K moments, which is amazing. These will all be able to be used. And then plus you need, the Andre Drummond to cap that off. So the bottleneck here clearly is Andre Drummond because he has the lowest mint count out of all of those. And that's why the price has surged up there. All right. So there are the bottleneck explanations for sets and team sets. If you have any questions about them, feel free to reach out. Like I said, now we're going to move on to something a little bit more complicated, and we're going to take a look at tonight's Flash Challenge. They just announced it. So Flash Challenge and regular challenge bottlenecks are also a thing as well. And I'll do my best to explain what they are because it's something that you definitely want to be careful with so that you're not overpaying for a moment. Sometimes the challenges are really interesting and enticing to do, but they just flat out don't make sense to do from a money perspective because prices get really expensive. And then after the challenge, they drop. That I will save for another day. It's more of a intermediate tip, but so are flash challenges. So if you're going to go into doing one of them, just know that the prices on each particular moment fluctuate a lot. And that's what we'll kind of talk about just briefly here right now. All right, this flash challenge today has to do with rebounds. Okay, so the winner of a flash challenge has been getting a lot of these metallic silver fandom moments recently. So tonight we get a metallic silver fandom reward for Vucevic if we complete. So in order to complete it, what you have to do is you have to make a showcase, and that is found on the showcases or the challenges section. And this one requires 10 moments from players who reach 5 rebounds first for each team in tonight's 5 games. So just to break it down a little bit differently, there are 5 games tonight. Obviously, 10 teams would be playing tonight. And the first player to reach 5 rebounds in each game is going to be the moment needed, right? So let's take a look at, just think of a bottleneck for a challenge reward as the player with the most limited number of moments out of all of those 10, the one that makes the challenge hardest to complete. Just a quick example. I will tell you about one that we had last week. It was for a Chris Paul challenge, and one of the leading assists person was Ao right here. And Ao got all the way up to about $500, okay? And before that, he was probably even in the lower 300 range. He's been a bottleneck quite a bit lately. It's because he's a rookie, right? So he only has one NBA Top Shot moment out right now. There are only 4,000 of them. And that means that if he is included in a challenge, the maximum number of people who can complete that is going to be 4,000. So it's going to be a pretty rare one because obviously it's not going to have a 100% completion rate. That would be way too much. I think on this one was about and we'll take a look at it right now because let's take a look at the Chris Paul one that you earned. And see, Chris Paul was only 1,400. So basically it was less than a 50%, about 1/3 maybe completion rate based on that AO bottleneck. That thing went up to $500. And you can see here the Chris Paul is only going for $145. So a lot of times you have to pay a lot. And of course, you can resell the moment after. So, say somebody bought the AO moment for $500. Now they're able to sell it for $350. That's a loss. Or they can just hang on to it. Maybe one day it'll be more than $500. But it kind of takes away liquidity from your account. And for that moment of Chris Paul, if they didn't want the AO, if they only wanted the Chris Paul, and they could have picked it up on the marketplace for $45. So look, like I said, this was a lot more complicated than a typical team set or just a regular set bottleneck. They are dynamic. They have, they change from game to game. So be very careful if you're going into a flash challenge or a regular challenge and knowing what the bottleneck is. And if you can identify it early on, it's better to get it early rather than late. That is my recommendation on bottlenecks for flash challenges. But yes, there are a lot of them. A lot of the rookies this year have been bottlenecks. Ayo has been one quite a bit. Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, those type of guys who are putting up big stats this year have been bottlenecks. We just had one last night where luckily, Drew Holiday came in at the very last game of the weekend. It was a weekend-long flash challenge. And Rajon Rondo, who only had a couple of Series 1 and Series 2 moments, was going to end up being the bottleneck. It was like a $500 moment. Nobody was going to be able to complete the Murray challenge because of it. And then on the very last game, Drew Holiday comes in and has 13 assists. And now it knocks Rajon Rondo out of the picture. And some people just completely overspent on that moment and we're left holding the bag. So again, the flash challenges and the challenges are not a beginner move. They're more of an intermediate or an advanced move on Top Shot. So make sure you're careful with it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out as well. All right, there you have it, everybody. Thank you for watching the episode. If you have any questions about bottlenecks, make sure to reach out to me. Drop a comment down below. If I don't respond to that comment, it's because I didn't see it. Sometimes these comments down on YouTube just kind of disappear. So if I haven't responded, it's because I don't see it. So just shoot me a tweet or an Instagram DM in that case. Again, all the links to my social medias are in the description of the video. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to enter that giveaway for the Ja Morant, Chris Paul, and Ray Allen. I will see you on the next video very soon. Have a great day.